Hello and welcome to this short video about subnetting in Filius. So we've got a business network for a company called the Very Important Company Limited. They've got a very small network. They've got 4 devices, 4 end user devices, 4 nodes if you like, and a switch. They've got the sales department and they've got the order processing department, and these are in physical separate locations inside the Very Important Company head office, or the only office in fact that they've got. And so they want to use subnetting because subnetting will allow them to easily maintain and upgrade their network, and it will allow them to maintain a bit of distance between certain computers that are on the network, so that if one machine was compromised, such as this sales machine that I'm pointing at here, then you wouldn't be able to use that to access the finance machine without some additional assistance or additional knowledge. Now, as it stands, it would be very straightforward to set up a network and then all of these machines could talk to each other. But one of the things we could use subnetting for is to create sort of like a smaller segments of a network within a larger network. So we'll do that here. So what I've done is I've put together a plan first. So I've put together a plan of the IP addresses that I'm going to use. So I've got there and the departments that they actually are these computers are for. So you can imagine in the sales department there's a computer that's just used for the finance purposes, and there's also a computer for the sales purposes as well. And then those computers need to be able to talk respectively to a computer which is responsible for dealing with finance questions, queries, whatever, in the order processing department on the other side of the building. And then we've also got a sales computer as well. So these two need to talk to each other, and these two need to talk to each other. But the sales shouldn't be able to talk to the finance computer, and vice versa. So subnetting is just one way that we could do this, and it also helps us learn about subnet masks and also a little bit more about IP addresses. Okay, so let's get started. So we want this computer here to be able to talk to this computer here and no others. And we also want this computer here to talk to this computer here and no others. Okay, so we can use subnetting for that. So I'm going to start up here in the top left-hand corner. So because I've very conveniently put the IP address on that one to use 192.168.1.10. And for this, I'm going to use a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0. So what this, no dots needed on the end, there we go. So what this is indicating then is that this, the first 2 octets are indicating that that the first part of my IP address is indicating the network. And the last 2 octets, because there's the net mask, or subnet mask as it's known, is set to be 0.0, that means that these 2 numbers, or 2 sets of numbers here, are indicating an individual end machine. So my subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just click out of that one and come and click here on the top right. And I'm just going to make sure it's selected. There it is. And I'm going to go to 192.168.54.11. Okay, now before I even do anything else, we can see, okay, so 54.11. And we've got 192.168.54.11. We've got 192.168.1.10. So 54 and 11 are obviously, completely different to 1 and 10. But the first 2 parts are the same, 192.168. So therefore, 255.255.0.0, if I set that to be the net mask or the subnet mask, okay, so that's got the same subnet or net mask, however you want to call it, as my computer that's in the other department. So 54.11 is indicating a unique machine that's on that network. Okay, so therefore these 2 machines should be able to talk to one another. So let's just check to see if that's worked. So let's click on this computer up here at the top. Let's move it out of the way a little bit, go to software installation. Let's install a command line, apply those changes. Okay, so I've got a command line running on 192.168.1.0. So if I go ping 192.168.54.11, because the subnet mask is set as the 2 first octets, should allow me to speak to that computer. So let's see if it responds to a ping. Okay, so it does respond to a ping, You can see that there, 4 packets transmitted, 4 received. So those 2 machines can talk to each other. Okay, so I'll close that window for the moment. Let's go back to these sales computers. Okay, so let's switch it back out of play mode into edit mode. There we go. So I've clicked on the hammer. Let's go to this sales computer. Okay, so this can be 192.168.99.10. That's fine. And so for this, I'm going to have a different subnet mask, 255.255.255.0. So what this is doing is this is showing us that the first 3 octets, the 255, 255, 255, are indicating a specific network. So only the last, the number that appears after the last full stop or period, whatever you want to call it, is indicating is identifying a machine. Okay, so what I can do now I've set that up, is let's do the same for this computer over here. Just going to have to scroll down a little bit so I can see 192.168.99.11. Okay, and the same subnet mask, so that'll be 255.255.255.0. Okay, so let's see if that works. So let's close that and let's click on play. Okay, right, let's go to this machine, software installation, command line, apply those changes. Right, let's try the command line now. Okay, so I'm at this machine. Let's see if I can ping this machine. Ping 192.168.99.11. Okay, so the subnet mask is the same on this machine, so it should be able to see it. Okay, fantastic, it does. So that works really well. Now, let's see then if I can actually ping this machine up here. So if I go ping 192.168.54.11, destination not reachable. Okay, so that makes sense. And then if we go ping 192.168.1.10, destination not reachable. Okay, so we have turned one physical network into 2 sort of like logical subnetworks, where we've got this computer and this computer on one subnetwork, and this computer and this computer on one subnetwork as well. Let's just test it the other way around. Let's go to this computer up here. Let's just try pinging. Let's just try pinging the sales computer here. So ping 192.168.99.11. Okay, so it times out. Okay, so it cannot see that computer on that network. It doesn't seem to exist in this case, and it actually doesn't exist in this case as well. So perfect, that seems to be working okay. So there we go. There's a very small example of how we could use the subnet mask, or the net mask as it's known. You might think, okay, so why did Steve pick sort of like a completely different number here in the 3rd octet? You see, he picked 1 here and he picked 54 here. I simply just picked that just to show that it actually, as long as this number is between sort of like 1 and 254, as long as the subnet mask is set correctly, then it will appear to be on the same subnet network as another device using this with the same subnet mask. Okay, so you'll start with a blank, a version of this just with the computer set up, but with none of the details set, and then it's just up to you to actually sort of like fill in the blanks and follow along on the video. Okay, thank you.